boom, boom. Bro, you weren't ready for that? So, hey guys, TD Fitness back with another video. I'm about to get into it for real this time. Yo. So look, check it out. I was thinking about making a video on teaching you guys how you can go through the push-up progressions faster. How you can level up that push-up faster. I've got two different methods. I'm gonna go through I'm gonna break down the first method in two different parts. It's gonna be more of like a beginner direction towards that, and then more of an advanced direction. And then I'm gonna go into the second method. That's just one point. Honestly, you could work in the second method, um, whatever level you're at. It really just helps overall. I mean, even with me, if you guys watch my last video, I just hit my one-arm push-up, and that's like the highest level that I can make in the video. But I'm still doing the second method for other variations and stuff like that I'm working on. So I'm just gonna get right into it. For method number one, for the beginner approach. Now, if you guys are doing something similar to what I had made a while back, was my upper body calisthenics routine, or lower body, whichever you're doing, whatever variation you're on for squat, pull up, push up. I'll make a pull up and a squat video later. If you're doing like 3 sets in a workout for a muscle group, then what you want to do is you want to put the variation that you are wanting to get better at for the majority of your sets. So if you're doing 3 sets, and let's say you can do just a couple of push-ups with your feet on the ground, right? Like normal standard push-ups. Well, have those as your first set, as your first 2 sets. And then, warm up first, but then for your working sets, for your 3 working sets, have that be 2 sets. And then on your last one, do an easier variation so you can get in more repetitions and more volume to help those muscles grow and get stronger. Because you could kill your muscles. You could go 3 full sets, and yeah, you're gonna get in some work, but you also don't want to overload the muscles too much all at once. So it's always good to make them have 2 sets, and then do an easier variation for your last set just to get in more volume. What I personally like to do, and what I would recommend for you guys, is when you go into an easier variation, if you're just messing around or wanting to work out, make sure you're paying attention to this regardless, but especially when you're going into an easier variation, to actually just don't even count the amount of reps you're doing. Just focus on your form and focus on the time under tension. What I mean by time under tension, if you don't know, is, let me set you up real quick. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's do this right here. So what I mean by time under tension is, all right, is how long you are able to, that's not really a good way to explain it. It's the time frame that your muscle's under the tension. So for your push-ups, you could bang them out like this, no problem, breeze through like 10, 20 reps, piece of cake, right? But if you were to slow it down, that you've just increased the time under tension right there, and that's going to make it more difficult, and it's going to force your muscles to work harder. So it basically makes that easier variation. Like, let's say again, you're over here doing standard push-ups, you're banging out 4 or 5 of them, right, for your sets. But then when you drop down for your 3rd set and you're on your easier variation now, make sure that you focus on the form, keeping everything straight and tight, and then you focus on that time under tension. Now you can go real slow on the way down, and you can come up with a little bit of speed, or you can go slow on the way up too. Both work. Although, regardless, I would say go slow on the way down, because you're a lot stronger on that negative motion. So, really forcing more time under tension in that position, in that movement, it's gonna help you get a lot stronger. So, for those people that aren't doing too many sets, or for my beginners out there, I mean, yeah, I would say just fill the majority of your sets with the one that you're working. So again, if you're doing like 3-4 sets, if you're doing 4, do 2 and 2. But make sure you start with the one that you're wanting to get better at. Make sure you start with the more difficult one, because you want to hit it when you're fresh, when you're as close to 100% as you could get. You don't want to bang out a couple of easy sets with the knee push-ups and then get to your standard push-ups and you're like, oh man, now I can't even do the 5 I did yesterday, or whenever you last worked it out. So you want to make sure that you start with the one that you're working, and always just throw in an easier variation. You can fill your whole 3 sets with it, and granted that would actually feel pretty good on the muscle, but you don't want to give it more than it can handle for now. Like, yes, you could probably get through it, but your recovery time is probably going to be a lot longer, and you might not be able to get to it the next day. You know what I'm saying? So you just listen to your body and adjust accordingly. If your body's saying, okay, you know what, let's do an easier variation for the next set, do that. You know, Going into the second part of the first method, I was going into how you should approach it if you're doing just a couple sets. There's one thing, how I work out is I'm doing, I'll do 5 sets, right? I'll hit my 2 sets for my warm up and then hit my 5 working sets of the thing that I'm actually working on. So, what I do is it's gonna get all technical. But I don't work my mid chest. So I'm not doing push-ups with my feet on the ground. If I'm ever doing push-ups, my feet are always going to be up on something. So I have a stool in my room. So whenever it comes to me doing any push-up work, I'm putting more emphasis on my upper chest, only because it's like a very lagging spot on my chest. So if I'm doing push-ups at any point in time, my feet are always up on something. But I do 5 sets. So what I do is, for my warm-up sets, what I do is I'll do my assisted one-arm push-up. So that's, again, if you watched that push-up video, then you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who have not seen that, I'm trying to set the phone up to show you guys. Basically what it is, we're going to have to come in here again, just like last time. Basically what I'm talking about is when I'm doing the push-ups, I have my hand on the ground and I'm holding on to my push-up bar or a dumbbell, and I'm stretching out my arm as far as it can go. So all the majority of my body weight is being pushed with this one limb. So I'll do 2 sets of that, and that's my warm-up. That's to get everything fired up and to make sure that I'm actually working the variation that I'm trying to get better at. So for those of you who are doing multiple sets, you're doing 4, 5 sets, and you've been doing push-ups for a while. I mean, whatever workout you're doing, you've been doing it for a while. What I would recommend, this is just how I'm training. You guys can train however you like. This is just how I'm training personally. Is I will do 2 sets of the variation I'm working on, the one I want to get better at, to warm up. It's not really a warm up because it's like the hardest variation for me, but it's one where I can really focus on my form and perfecting that movement. Then I get into my working, my 5 sets of whatever it is I'm working on. So for me, with my feet up, I'll throw on a weight vest and I'll do regular push-ups, but with the weight vest. So I do 5 sets of that. but that's something that I would recommend to you guys as more on the advanced side. You know, you have the thing that you are working at, and then the thing that you actually want to get better at. So again, you know, it's kind of similar to the beginner approach, but that is just having the majority of your sets that thing that you want to get better and stronger at. Whereas now it's you want that thing you want to get better at, stronger with, you want that to be your initial thing that you do before you actually go into your working sets. So my second point, hold on, is that everything? Is that everything? Before I go on, I want to make sure that I actually covered. Yeah, okay. So for point number two, it's called greasing the groove. That's what I've heard it been called. I don't have another name for it. I actually like greasing the groove. So this, anybody could do this. I'm doing it right now, and I can do 50 plus push-ups, so it doesn't matter where you're at. You could just be doing two, two push-ups with your feet on the ground, or two knee push-ups, or two counter push-ups, whatever, wherever you're at, you can get this done. Basically, you want to, I'm gonna flip the camera again. What you want to do is you want to find your max amount of the variation you're working at. And guys, this works, and it actually works very fast. It shot my numbers up ridiculously, as well as my little brother. He's like 9 years, he just turned 9, but he's already doing like 20 plus diamond push-ups because I was teaching him about greasing the groove. Again, you could do this with any workout. You could do this with any calisthenics workout. You could do it with weightlifting, although it'd be slightly more of an inconvenience because you'd have to continuously pick up weights and re-rack everything. But basically what it is you find your max of, I don't know why I'm getting on the ground doing push-ups. You find the max amount of repetitions you can do, and then you do half of that throughout the day. I like to do half of it every hour on the hour. So let's say, I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, right? So I wake up at 7 and I do the things that I need to do in the morning, and then I hit my morning routine. After that, every hour on the hour, I'm doing like 10 push-ups. I'm doing 10 push-ups, right? And basically I would be taking half of my max and doing that every hour on the hour. What you're doing is you're increasing the volume that you're getting in throughout the day, which in hindsight is going to be more than what you could get in if you're just maxing out throughout the day, because you could probably max out maybe 2 or 3 times in that day. Hold on, I should probably turn that off. Silence. Okay, so it's like, think of it like this: if you're doing 20 push-ups and you can only do that, like that's your max, you can only do that 3 times throughout the day, because that's your max, that's your limit. You're like, oh, trying to push out that last one. You could probably do that maybe 2 or 3 times that day. That's 60 push-ups, right? But then if you broke that down and you did 10 every hour on the hour, you're probably awake for more than 10 hours throughout the day. So you just got in practically double the amount that you would have gotten in. And you're not sore. You're not tired, you're not fatigued. Because the point is not to fatigue the muscle, it's to have your body get used to practicing that movement over and over and over again, which is going to make you way more efficient at it. So that's the whole point of greasing the groove, is that you just want to take your max, take half of that, and do that throughout the day. You can do it every 2 hours. I like to do it every hour on the hour. 3 o'clock. All right, boom, drop down, give them 10. 4 o'clock, boom. It's just to help your body get used to practicing that movement over and over again, and that's going to make you way more efficient at it, especially if you're really focusing on your form and the time under tension for those reps, because you're doing half your max. So even if you can only do 2, if you're doing 1 every hour on the hour, bro, and you take your time with it, like you really focus on your form and you really focus on doing it, like as perfect as you possibly can every time, dude, you're gonna have incredible results in your numbers and your strength gains by greasing the groove. So those are the 2 points, 2 methods that I have on getting better at any progression that you're at with calisthenics. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to overlook them. And if I have an answer, then I'll probably respond. Or if it's something that I feel like I can make a video on, I'll make a video on it. Just let me know if you guys have any questions or something that you want to see me talk about. Maybe get my opinion or something you want me to go over. Just right there in the comments, man. So I hope you guys took something from this video. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Deuces.